manage a very large firm, accounting firm. If your employees were to describe you today, how do you think they would describe you as a boss?
Okay, bear in mind, they call all accountants cheap. So they work for an accounting firm. But I believe that they would say that I'm even-handed, I'm fair, I'm very focused. I have their interests at heart. Yes. I have the clients who we serve. We have their interests at heart as well. It's not all about you. It's never only about you. It's about the people who work with you, the environment you work, and those you serve.
Mr. Gomez, I know you are a very devout Anglican.
No doubt.
Yes, no doubt. Holy Cross.
Yeah, Holy Cross.
What role did faith play in your overall success?
We have to believe, and faith is fundamental to myself, my family, and most Bahamians.
Yes.
We have to believe always that we didn't just end up here on the earth.
Right.
I believe that it didn't just happen. If you were walking down the beach and you found a watch, you have to assume that the watch had a maker.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So
yes, sir.
Here it is, we are in the world, we are on the planet, we had to have had a maker.
Yes, sir.
And there are enough things that happen in the lives of all of us to let us know that there is a God. Yes. There is no doubt about that. Yes. The role it plays for me, I believe fundamentally to this day, that there is God, and I believe in God 110%.
Wow. Give the man some more love, please. As we speak tonight, the entire world is going through a economic slump, all right? And some analysts have said it's probably the worst they've seen in history. What advice can you give to our local Bahamians here in terms, the ones who are facing financial challenges today, meeting mortgages, car notes, paying rent, basic stuff like that?
This is a difficult time. It's difficult not only at the personal level. If you look around at corporations right now, local corporations, you'll see the downturn in business activity, the closing down of many businesses. Yes. There are traditional Bahamian businesses that we don't talk about, but there are several over the hill, and I don't want to call the names right now, but they're shutting down day by day. Yes. They don't make the news because there's 20 people here, 10 people here. The numbers are not as significant as perhaps the 500 across the street, etc.
Yes.
But this is a difficult time. It is time for us to bear down, reduce our expenses. Income always reduces, or it might increase. Expenses always tend to increase.
Yes.
But expenses are those issues that we can control. You can decide, for example, not to go out for a hamburger tonight. Yet that is your power.
Right.
You could decide to sit home and eat Spam.
Yes.
At the end of the night, you're still well fed, your stomach is full, and you can now go to sleep.
Yes, yes.
We have, we have to reduce some of the things we do, but at the same time not reduce the quality of life.
Exactly.
Quality of life hinges on, again, Spence is my childhood friend. This is a time for us to sit and get better acquainted.
Right.
We don't lose quality of life that way. I think it's a bit unfortunate when we look at our natural resources in a time like this, for example. If I wanted to buy, I'm hungry, they say go fishing because it's out there.
Yes.
But fish by itself is a very expensive commodity in this town.
Yes, it is.
All right? It is cheaper for me to go to the food store and get 2 pounds of pork ends or something of the sort. So we have to be careful. If we want to maintain a quality of life, we have to make some choices. But again, maybe I used to go to Miami 10 times a year.
Cut that down.
I got to cut that down.
Yes, right.
All right? But I will also say, do not deprive yourself. You've got one life to live and one lap at living that life.
Give that man some love. Thank you. Thank you. Give that man some love. Yes. Thank you.
There comes a time in the eternal scheme of things when the earth is graced with the presence of a master portrait artist, an artist whose portraits radiate that special something that defies description and staggers the imagination. Once there was Michelangelo, Leonardo da Vinci, Rembrandt, and Van Gogh. Now there is Roger D.
You go in there and you don't come out the same.
I'll tell anyone, listen, if you want a good portrait done of yourself, visit Roger D. I'm telling you, I was totally impressed with it. Wonderful work, wonderful work.
From the day I've entered that studio and the portraits that I had made, they were so fantastic that I could never change him for no one else.
Call Roger D. There's no one else that can do the job like him. And I'm speaking from experience, there is no comparison.
For the best portraits on this side of heaven, come to Roger D.
Welcome back to Dare to Be Great. My guest this evening is Craig Tooney Gomez, the managing partner of Baker Tilly Gomez. Welcome back.
Yeah, thank you. Once again, good to be here, Spence.
Now, Craig, you've had a very successful career as a CPA, hosting You and Your Money, one of the most popular hosts of that television show, chairmanships of various government and private boards, and you are a much sought after liquidator. What do you attribute to your success, sir?
I think what is important, I appreciate the kind words, but oftentimes we don't look at ourselves as successful because we are on a journey.
Yes,
we have not reached our destination yet. I appreciate the kind words, and I've heard it once before. I don't always see myself in that light. So it's important for me and those who think like that to continue to try to better ourselves, try to educate ourselves. Yes. You know, there's a phrase that says, you don't know how much you know until you try to know some more.
That's right.
All right?
That's right. Yeah.
And so it's a matter of that. It's so interesting to learn new things. If I could speak in layman terms, it's so interesting to know new stuff.
Yes,
all right?
yes, yes,
And you could watch children any time of the day and see when they learn something new and how excited they become. We lose our excitement that way. And I try not to ever become dull to learning new things. I saw a statistic one time that the question was asked, at what age do we start losing our creativity? And the answer, everybody said 24, 25, 26. People start to lose their creativity at age 6. Wow. All right? At age 6. Because a child leaves home, and of course these are American statistics, they start school at a certain point in time. But a child leaves home, at home, before they start going to school, they're creative. They don't know the world, they keep learning, they keep wanting to know. Now when they get in the school environment, of course, there's Johnny and Susie and everybody else who's intimidating and impacting the way that they think. Then they want to answer a question, but they don't want to sound dumb or stupid while that happens. And so they start withdrawing and turning inside. But as adults, I think when you have that desire to still always want to learn, that is to your advantage.
Wow. Good stuff, good stuff. Good to match some more love.
Yeah.
One of the chairmanships that you hold is the Bahamas Financial Services Board. Right. There's been a lot of talk of late, particularly after our great Barack Obama came in, that the United States is now really pairing for the books here in terms of the offshore tax havens. I knew before Obama came in, they were visiting the Cayman Islands.
Yes.
A number of senators went to Cayman to check out to see where the Americans were hiding their money. They went there physically. Yes. At a famous law firm in Grand Cayman. Right. How do you see us holding on in this area in the financial services? There have been a number of people who have said, look, we have to change our model, we have to do this, we have to do that. What's your view on it?
We live in a very interesting time. Let me first say I enjoy the role as chairman of BFSB. I happen to have come along at a very interesting time, a very eventful time. Yes. Financial services is the second pillar of our economy. It is under attack right now, it's under siege. Yes. We have a sovereign right as Bahamians and the things we do in the Bahamas. But clearly, there is a bigger picture now, and there's a bigger world. And the bigger world is upset that they're not earning as much tax revenue as they once did. And so I believe they will come after all jurisdictions. Well, it's proven already. They've come after all jurisdictions, international financial centers. I believe we will have to rethink, and we currently are rethinking some of the things that we will have to do to reshape and re-engineer our financial services industry.